Ever since I got the Tinkerer mask, I wanted to see if it were possible to make some obscure builds shine. So here's my first experiment with a rifle breaking point build. Can Tinkerer make this gear set viable or not? Let's find out together. The core of this build is based around wanting to find a build for rifles specifically using breaking point because it seemed useless to me in the past compared to high-end builds. I'll be using the Tinkerer mask with 2 rifles and focusing on maximizing the bonus that breaking point has to offer with on-point talent. All of our gear we want to have crit chance up to 60% and stack crit damage after, so let's get right into it. Starting out, we're going to use the breaking point gear set for the holster, knee pads, gloves, and backpack. Breaking point with 2 pieces gives us 25% rifle and marksman rifle damage. 3 pieces gives us 30% headshot damage, 15% weapon handling, and then 4 pieces gives us the on-point talent set, which is hitting a shot with a rifle or marksman rifle grants a stack. Max stack is equal to weapon's magazine size. Reloading grants 2% weapon handling and 4% weapon damage per stack. No stacks are required while the bonuses are active. The timer running out will refill your magazine. Switching weapons while bonuses are active will stop the effect and refill your magazine. Switching weapons while the bonuses are not active will remove all stacks and refill your magazine, which is a long-winded way of saying we're going to get 4% weapon damage and 2% weapon handling for every shot that we hit, which max will be 60 with our UICs that I'll talk about later. And then we're using the backpack because that bonus will then be 7%, which is point of honor, increases on point weapon damage bonus from 4% to 7%. The next piece we want is the Cheska body armor because 1 piece Cheska gives us critical hit chance. We also want that to have crit chance and crit hit damage as our attributes. And then we want the talent to be obliterate, which is critical hits increase weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds and stacks up 20 times. The last piece of gear we're using is the Tinkerer mask. Comes with crit hit chance and crit hit damage. We're going to stack extra crit damage on as well with the mods. It comes with the talent Abridged if your primary and secondary weapons are not exotic or named and of the same type. The secondary weapons talents will also be applied to the primary. Does not apply if the primary or secondary weapons talents include weapon swapping. Does not apply if the primary and secondary weapon talents are the same. So essentially we're going to use 2 rifles for this build. One of them is going to be the UIC, my primary, and then I'll have 2 talents. Both the primary and secondary talents will apply to the primary. For our weapons, we're going to be using 2 rifles because of the Tinkerer mask, both in the primary and secondary slots. I found the best primary to use was the UIC 15 Mod 2. This rifle has a mag capacity of 60 rounds, which helps with the breaking point bonus, and then an optimal range of 60, which at the longer ranges is where this build will shine for you. You can also use the Urban MDR because of its rate of fire, but the UIC just hits harder, and with how we'll use this build, the harder hits are more beneficial. The first talent you want to equip is Killer. Killing an enemy with a critical hit grants 70% critical hit damage. Because we're stacking critical hit chance, we're going to be hitting more critical hits, and that just gives us a better chance of proccing Killer. For our secondary weapon, all we need is a rifle equipped. The mods on it and the attributes don't matter. All you want is the talent Lucky Shot, which is magazine capacity is increased by 20%. Missed shots from cover have a 100% chance to return to the magazine. Even though we could do more damage with other talents, this will synergize best with on point from breaking point, because the only point of needing a reload is after we've hit 60 hits on target, or we choose to reload to boost our damage on command. So you can literally continuously shoot at targets and play whack-a-mole as they pop in and out of cover without worrying about missed shots eating into your ammo supply, and anyone who likes rifles knows these lack ammo reserves compared to what other weapons hold. I'm also running the Gunner Specialization with the extra 15% rifle damage, but mainly for the 10% weapon handling bonus while standing still, the ammo regen, the rate of fire increase, and of course the bonus armor on kill. My skills for this build are the Revive Hive and the Crusader Shield. Even though we're not using this build to rush into a fight, the shield's helpful if you get caught out by flanking enemies or rushing enemies. You can also use decoys here that'll help you spend more time firing to hit those longer range enemies. For this build, I wanted to see if I could find a way to use the Tinkerer to make breaking point viable in some aspect of the game. I've run this through missions, strongholds, and things like bounties, but where this build works best is control points. Specifically, this works best at the control points where you can set up at longer ranges and where the enemy reinforcements come from greater distances. Where other weapons lose some of their power and accuracy, these rifles are able to maintain steady fire, and with Lucky Shot as an additional talent, you don't need to worry about missing shots. The main tip I have for this build is to get used to not reloading during lulls and save it for when breaking point stacks are full, or when you need that extra burst of damage for incoming groups or named enemies. So like I said, I set out to see if I could make a viable breaking point rifle build, and this is what I came up with. It's not the meta by any means, but it is a lot of fun to take down control points from a distance with ease. Like and subscribe if you want to see more fun builds to use, and leave a comment to let me know if you'll be trying this build. See ya!